Oh.
Good afternoon, viewers of the JPL X24 agent. We are here to tell you that JPL is using his platforms in ways he can reach out to you. He's been streaming on Twitch for the past couple days every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday to find ways to interact with his audience and his declining fans. In order to save him from irrelevancy, you must follow him on twitch.tv/JPLX24. Act quickly, or else this little skit will seem like nothing more than a shameless plug. DeadSec is giving you the truth. Do what you will.
Hello, everybody! My name is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Wait. Well, this is new, huh? First thing you see me doing is some kind of skit video? I haven't done one of those in years. But, welcome to my first review video. Like I promised, we're going to be looking at Watch Dogs 2. Now, wouldn't it make more sense to start off with the original Watch Dogs before jumping ahead to the second one? And to that I say, well, I mean, yeah, kinda. But I don't own the game. And I don't think I want to. But enough rambling. After the original Watch Dogs was released and was considered a commercial success, many critics and fans alike gave constructive criticism on how to make the second Watch Dogs better. One of the critiques given was a more likable protagonist, believe it or not. Another point was to tweak some of the driving mechanics in the game, which senior producer Dominic Guay described as polarizing in the first game, and that some people liked it and some people didn't like it. And finally, another critique some people had with the game was that female characters in Watch Dogs 2 are victims to be kidnapped or murdered in the interest of the plot or character motivation and are almost all overtly sexualized? Oh. Yeah, maybe it's best I stay away from Watch Dogs for the time being. Tony Key, Senior Vice President at Ubisoft, stated that the commercial success of Watch Dogs can make the series here to stay for a while. Later on in 2015, a Ubisoft developer accidentally revealed that Watch Dogs 2 was in development. I just hope that person didn't get immediately fired afterwards. But at E3 2016, the game was revealed and slated for a November 2016 release, and people were excited. Now, with the release of Watch Dogs 2 now in people's hands, many people were left wondering, is the game going to turn out exactly how the last one did, or will they truly flesh out the game and make it something both fans and critics can enjoy? Well, in February of 2017, I found my answer. This is actually one of the first reasons why I got my PS4 in the first place, along with games like Uncharted 4 and many others. But, that's enough of my talking. Let's take a look inside of Watch Dogs 2. Our story begins at a Bloom CTOS server farm in San Francisco. Our protagonist, Marcus Holloway, codenamed Retro, yes with a zero, is thinking of joining a hacktivist group known as DeadSec, which you may remember from the first game. He is tasked with getting inside the server room and deleting his CTOS profile. Marcus claims that the information CTOS has on him is bullshit, and is tired of being harassed for it, hence starts the tutorial mission. The controls are explained throughout the story and do a decent job of telling you what button does what command. For example, pressing L3 will allow you to sprint, holding R2 will allow you to vault over and climb over certain terrain, and as I mentioned earlier, you're looking to join a hacktivist group, meaning you have the ability to hack almost any electronic. By pressing L1, you can hack a certain object that the game auto-locks on for you as a person's phone, cars, electronic doors, and even explosives! Oh. However, certain obstacles are protected by an internal electric source such as a closed-circuit terminal and network bypasses. We'll save that for later. Oh, and you can also melee enemies with the circle button, and my lord, these takedowns are absolutely insane. A perfect blend of stylish and brutal, if you ask me. Also, some are just plain funny. One punch and he's out like a light, Jesus. I should probably get back to the story. Well, Marcus manages to delete his CTOS profile and installs a backdoor so he can access the files later. Once he escapes the facility, he is quickly kidnapped by the members of DeadSec who were watching him throughout the mission, talking amongst themselves, and wakes up on the beach and is now a member of DeadSec. Before the beach, we are given a quick exposition of what we're dealing with, but to sum it up, CTOS is an OS that tracks a person's every pattern when it comes to electricity. So things like TVs, smartphones, even children's toys are sent and stored in a database somewhere. It creates situations to see if your cancer is worth treating, or you applying to a college and being rejected before you even sent in the application. Some real trespassing shit, and it sucks. But after that, this is where you meet the other DedSec members. We have Satara, the artist and DJ of the group, who is very playful, but once she gets serious, she gets shit done. Up next we have White Meat, excuse me, Josh, aka Hot Sauce, the socially awkward quiet type, who has probably the best hacking skills out of everyone in the group. I could be wrong, but it sure seems that way. He also has Asperger's, and I actually didn't know that until writing this video. Wow. Next up is Winch, the wild humorous type who loves blowing shit up and...
Got a weird relationship with technology, you know that, right?
and can be a tad bit emotional at times, but all in all, he's a great character. He's actually my personal favorite out of the cast. Finally, we have Horatio, who doesn't really have much of a personality at the start, but immediately fucks with Marcus. Cause when you put two black people in a group with the same interests and goals in a setting, they are legally obligated to be cool with one another. I mean, look at the way the two introduce each other in this cutscene. I love their dynamic so much. Once the group all introduce each other and have drinks, we later see a man going out for a midnight jog, asking Marcus for the time while Marcus was nonchalantly peeing in the ocean. The two have a little bit of an exchange, which Marcus says that the man looks familiar, but the man gives him back his phone and says to have a good party in a very weird way, which makes you kinda go, why did he say it like that? Marcus wakes up in a random person's house, which appears to be a one-night stand's house, and gets a call to meet the others at the hackerspace. Once he gets there, the team gives him a synopsis of what they're trying to do. In order to take down Bloom, they need to rally the people behind their cause. They also need the bots to handle the data CTOS is processing, and once people download their app, they get the compartments they need, and thus begins the first mission. The first mission we tackle deals with the new movie that the popular actor Jimmy Siska is a part of called Cyberdriver. Marcus gets an idea to shoot their own version of the trailer using a talking car in the movie they just watched in order to gain followers for the people to get the app, and the group decides that's their first mission. After grabbing the script at HMP Studios, downloading studio emails, and finding out where the car is from a photographer whom Marcus shows porn in order to get the information. I'm not fucking kidding.
Hella cool. Coolosity.
Yep. Well, we take the car to Wrench's garage, give it a little bit of a makeover. Once the car is ready to be used for a quick car time trial, and the first mission is done just like that. Our second mission is dealing with the new Homeland security system called Haum, spelled like this. After watching a man promoting Haum 2.0 on the news, called DedSec out by name to try and hack their system. Hence why we're doing this mission. DedSec is not to be fucked around with. So after stealing a pre-order shipment, finding a security robot inside of the shipment, breaking into somebody's house with Haum 2.0, and trolling the guy who called DedSec out by name in the first place, like that, the second mission is complete. Our third mission is looking into a religious organization called New Dawn, where in order to serve your loyalty to the system, you have to pay them, and use people with significant amounts of money to blackmail them and keep them from leaking their secrets. So naturally, the Phantom Thieves, excuse me, DedSec, tries to stop the organization and show the people what New Dawn is really up to. Marcus finds out that Jimmy Siska, the lead actor of Cyberdriver, was unfortunately one of the victims of the New Dawn blackmail. He later interviews him about a rumor he's heard about New Dawn. Jimmy Siska tells Marcus about how some New Dawn members were taken to a place called the Red Room, where he says they go and never come back. So we can all infer what that means, right? And Marcus leaves the interview with one final note.
Oh yeah, man, and one last thing, man. Like, your last 5 movies have been just disappointing as shit, so act better. Alright, keep your chin up. Peace!
What the fuck? He later rescues him from a New Dawn educational center and tells Marcus that in the New Dawn temple, there are ancient Sumerian temples that are told to be written by the visitor himself. Siska tells him that they aren't playing in that temple, so what do? Beat the shit out of any security guard we catch lacking, obviously. Once we get to the basement, we realize, oh shit, they were fake all along, and people spend numerous amounts of money before they even see the tablets, only for them to be fake. Now that all of the pieces have come together, we finally released a video exposing New Dawn, and like that, the third mission is done. Our fourth big mission starts off with Josh having a big panic attack over our follower rate. Turns out that out of all the people following DedSec and downloading their app, 75% of them were inactive or dead invite accounts, which is the story's main social media platform. And naturally, Marcus goes in to see what's been going on behind the scenes by going into Invite HQ, which surprisingly happened to be a couple blocks away from the hackerspace, checking the CEO's office and see who boosted our numbers. Oddly enough, Marcus finds out that he's back on Bloom's profiling and DedSec lost all the bots. As Marcus finds out about this, suddenly enter... the guy from the party?! Oh my god! I did not see that. I mean, come on, man. If you really didn't know by now, I don't know what to tell you. Also, I'm gonna change the scenery because I forgot to record this line, and you know. Anyways, enter Duchenne Nemec. I've been kind of skipping over him in the story synopsis. He's basically the CEO of Bloom. He's been tracking DedSec ever since Marcus went into their internal servers and installed the backdoor in the tutorial mission, and he's the one who boosted DedSec's numbers. Marcus, pissed off about this fact, punches him in retaliation. Nemec leaving the office saying that there's a warrant out for his arrest for all the shit that he's did, and leaves the office as you can hear an alarm and police sirens at the end of the cutscene. After escaping the police, the team lets out a little aggression and it seems like all hope is lost. Marcus gives them an idea to go to a festival to cool off some steam and grabs the group together to enter a hacking challenge, which they obviously win, by doing a network bypass. Now, remember how earlier I said I'll get to the network bypasses later? Yeah, well now's the fucking time. I can't stand these goddamn things! At first they were just fine, you know, just a fancy connect the dots puzzle, but when you get to this mission onwards, oh, I can't stand them. The reason being, that fucking timer! I swear, I'm not the smartest guy on the block, and I never will be. Sometimes solving what should be simple puzzles takes a longer than normal time for me to get through, but now that they added a timer, putting more pressure on me to complete it in one go, along if I mess up, it resets! Oh, it pisses me off. It pisses me off so much that I just wanna, just wanna... Ah! Sorry. Anyways, after completing the puzzle, this is where DedSec meets a new character called Raymond Kenny, one of the main characters of the original Watch Dogs game. Him and Marcus got to know each other throughout the party, and eventually when Ray tells Marcus to run because Raymond got a little antsy with his pants and sadly ejaculated and evacuated on a bride of a gang member called the Sons of Ragnarok. And then they later meet up at the hackerspace. After the team finds out who he is, they welcome him with open arms, and that's it really. So our next mission is tasked with working up our way to Bloom to take them down. The first big corporation we go after is Noodle. Satara finds out that Noodle has their hands on an extension portion of data thanks to what people search up on them. If they get a hold of that data, they can use it to take down numerous targets. Horatio, yeah, remember that guy, can help Marcus in this situation as he has a part-time job at Noodle HQ, so he can help him get into the server farms located under Noodle HQ. But in order to get access to Noodle, you need to be an employee, which Marcus isn't. So how do we pose as an employee? Become a bus driver, baby! Woo! While trying to get into the data farms, Horatio was on the verge of losing his job because somebody who's had a lead on him and his hacker side. But we pulled through and saved his ass from danger, while also shifting the blame on the guy breathing down Horatio's neck. And just like that, Noodle's data is ours. We also find out that Noodle and Bloom have a little bit of a co-op going on, and Noodle has some access to Bloom. Ray says this has Dushan written all over it, hence ends the mission of Limping Noodle. Speaking of Dushan, he offers up a lot of money to their rival group, Prime 8, and he wants to know everything about DedSec that the rival group knows. I think I'm just gonna start calling him the douche, which eventually leads us going to war with Prime 8. So we meet up with Prime 8 member, who I'm assuming is the leader, Lenny. She tries to get us to shut down our operations and tell our fans that we ain't worth shit, or else she'll start naming names. But later we realize that Prime 8 hired themselves to the gang Sons of Ragnarok, and we use that to our advantage. So after meeting up with Lenny, we go to the Sons of Ragnarok's main hideout, which is a diner downtown San Fran, to blow up their malware ATMs. Afterwards, we go to the hackerspace of Prime 8 and get the encryption key for ourselves, and Lenny doesn't seem to like that very much, but who cares what she thinks. Unfortunately, she's rigged the place to blow up, and the only way we could disable it is... And only have 5 minutes? And to make things worse, just when I start to figure shit out, Lenny over here has to screw up the connections, making me have to start over again. Do you see why I hate these things? After a little bit of texting my patience and managing to do it on my first try with only 30 seconds left, we've disabled the trap and Prime 8 is officially cornholed. Once we've dealt with them, the DedSec crew decide to head to a seafood restaurant to celebrate, until suddenly we notice somebody's watching us. Oh, and one more thing I'd like to note, I like how all the cutscenes are rendered in real time. See, before this cutscene I exploded a pothole right outside the restaurant, and during the cutscene and even after, the explosion is still there, and it's hilarious! But afterwards, we try to track down who was stalking us and download the data from them, only for the person who was spying us is none other than... the FBI?! And I gotta say, bro, the FBI in this game do not fucking play. Holy shit, easily the most dangerous group to piss off. Because if you get spotted by one of them, you get spotted by all of them, man. They're serious with their shit, dude. But like always, we manage to escape and put it behind us. Meanwhile, Satara gives us a call saying that Horatio hasn't been answering his phone and we can't get in contact with him. Oh, and along the way, we messed with Satara's niece who was dancing for her fans on the internet, so, you know, that was fun. Also, I love how she's going absolutely insane over music that's not even playing because I turned it off, so it could be a good source for memes.
This is what real music sounds like, loser.
Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Push me on through until the battle's won.
Oh, Mom! Jimmy fucked up my music!
Together.
Anyways, we go to the place where Horatio's phone was last, and on our way there I was messing around with the black and white filter in the game and that was fun too. The name's Marcus Holloway. I'm an ace hacktivist with a knack for technology and women. Me and my boys are on our way to find out what happened to our boy Ratio now, see? If I gotta tickle somebody's pickle, best believe I'll do that shit for less than a nickel, see? Yeah, see? What the fuck am I doing? So we managed to find the phone, but don't see him anywhere, which is strange, so we decided to look at camera footage nearby to see what happened to him. Turns out he was cornered by some thugs, and even when fighting back, they managed to take him away to parts unknown. After finding out they're members of the Tesca's gang, and conveniently finding out that one of the people who kidnapped him was at a building nearby, we go and take a look and see what the issue is about. Now earlier I did say that Wrench was one of my favorite characters, but honestly after the Noodle mission, I really like Horatio. So I can't wait to see his face again and rescue him from whatever mess he's gotten himself.
He's dead, guys. Satara Josh, he's fucking dead.
Oh my god, Marcus, get out of there now!
Fuck!
Wait, what? Yeah, so Horatio died. It seemed like the gang wanted information out of him, but Horatio obviously declines and tries to beeline it out of there, but sadly that doesn't work and was stabbed, leading to his death. Marcus wants to track down the people who killed Horatio, and Josh finds out that it's only like a block away from where Marcus is right now, and we're tasked with downloading their operations info. Now, of course, knowing that Horatio just died, I think it's only safe that we play this slowly and try to be as secret as possible. You killed my boy Horatio! I will murder each and every one of you! After downloading their info, we later go and destroy their cocaine supply on a ship port near Oakland, and kill all of Horatio's kidnappers. One of them even tried to escape. They were dealt with very easily. No, dude. Well, I'm still not very good at critical thinking after all. Next, we find the leader of the Tesca's group, Pablo. I forgot to write his last name in my script. Take him out in quick fashion, and the group commemorates Horatio, and with that, the mission is done. May Horatio rest in peace. So after that, we decide to head back to the mission dealing with the FBI, and Marcus and Wrench meet at a coffee shop where Wrench has eyes for a lady working there, and Marcus, being the good guy he is, has the lady and Wrench officially introduce each other, and Marcus goes on to deal with the FBI. Once we get to the main FBI office, plant the transceiver on the antenna, download spying post data from their servers, which was not easy by the way. We complete that and plant another transceiver on another antenna until we find out Wrench was taken by the ops, then try to probe information out of Wrench on DedSec, when suddenly the douche steps in and tells Wrench to tell the rest of DedSec about the deal he offered, which was in order to get them off the FBI radar, to see Dushan, or else they'd be chased down for the rest of their life. He eventually lets him go, but doesn't let him take his mask. Marcus, pissed off, goes on to get his mask back, download the FBI data, and once he's done with that, gives Wrench back his mask, and DedSec makes the info about the FBI known to the world, and the mission is complete. Ray gives Marcus a call to commend the efforts he and the rest of DedSec have been doing so far, and tells him to meet him by the coast for the biggest job yet, which is to hack into Galilei, a rocket science company. Actually, when I got to this mission, I needed the quadcopter, which is a remote-controlled drone, so I had to make enough money, and the way I did that? Uber. Yeah, the game has a system where you can drive people around various spots on the map in exchange for money. It's a nice and fun way to earn some extra cash in the game, and it was something I kind of needed to do because I wasn't aware of the other way to earn money in this game. Also, while doing these, I encountered this glitch. You say? What the fuck? What was that? Did you guys see that? So that was a nice laugh. Well, anyways. Trying to reach inside of me. Anyways, After getting the drone, we're finally ready to go into Galilee. So what we gotta do is plan an exploit onto a satellite, and once we do that, we now have access to the world! After messing around in other countries of Bloom,
We're fucked.
we finally managed to go to Bloom HQ, which surprisingly is in my home state, New Jersey. So that's neat. Once we reach the HQ, we have to access their data, and holy shit, I mean, look at this place. It's ginormous. Although for some reason it reminds me of Kanashiro's Palace from Persona 5. Now, in order to access Bloom's data, we need to complete. However, this one is relatively easy and not as stressful as the ones prior, but it's still a network bypass, so, you know. We then realize that Bloom has data all over these big corporations like Envite, Noodle, Titus, the government, etc., and the group finds that suspicious, so we decide to take down the big corporations one by one. Also in this scene, Sitara becomes very suspicious of Ray and thinking he's going to use Marcus for his personal gain, which on one hand is nice of her to look out for Marcus like that, but on the other hand is a little weird concerning that he hasn't really done anything to screw us over like that. So yeah, Sitara kinda crazy. Next mission we tackle deals with a congressman who I'm not sure if he's running for president, mayor, or whatever political party he's trying to do, but Envite is helping his campaign, which is no bueno, so the DedSec group heads straight to work.
I'm gonna go for another beer.
Well, most of them anyway. So we take a quick trip to his billboard and vandalize it, also head into Envite and install a backdoor into their servers while going into the CEO's phone, which I also remember struggling to do. But afterwards, we find out that they're using rigged voting machines to make people vote for Thrust. You know, the guy we're trying to screw over. We then head towards the penthouse of Mary Catskill, the CEO of Envite, who we see there with Thrust and the douche, because of course he fucking is. And now it's our turn to go there and download the evidence we need to show the world what they're doing to this election. Once completed, we take a zip line from the penthouse down to the solid ground, which was very cool to see, but also got us in trouble with the police, so we had to escape. But after we destroyed the rig machines, the mission is done. Also, after this, I was trying to grab a research point that was locked behind a network bypass, and you see this shit? Do you see this? Fuck these things, Christ. Our next big corporation we go after is Titus. So we meet with Wrench and Ray in Wrench's garage to discuss what we should do about them. Titus is teaming up with Bloom to go with the 10-year plan, which Titus is using to make military platforms. Ray gets the idea that we can use Wrench's little robot, that little robot we stole from Haum a while ago, to use it as an EMP bomb to reset Titus's code. Wrench obviously doesn't want to do that, but eventually Marcus thinks Ray's idea makes more sense, which leads Wrench to have a little bit of a breakdown. Poor Wrench. I can understand how it feels when the majority of people disagree with your plan. As Marcus and Ray try to get the graffiti off Wrench Jr., Big Daddy Wrench tells them they don't have to. Wrench tells the two if one of the bots breaks down, a service truck will come and pick it up and send it in for repair, and they use that to get Wrench Jr. inside. And that's what we do to start the Titus mission, and Ray
Had his hands out for a handshake.
Wrench
Just walked right by, my man said.
Later we meet Ray in Silicon Valley. He tells us that Titus's HQ has a basement warehouse underground, and Marcus gets to play around while also fucking them up at the same time. First, we get Wrench Jr. inside the repair facility, we find the server room and blow it up, and once that's cleared, we enter Titus and head into the basement to see all the secret shit Titus is up to. Once we reach the basement, we have to... While doing the network bypass, we also learn about the robot Titus has been cooking up in the background. Titus is working on a robot that can withstand even the strongest of combat assaults, provide more offense capabilities, and also have it carry guns, because of course it needs fucking guns. And with all that out the way, what kind of form do you think this robot will take? That's right, a fucking spider bot! No, I'm not kidding. Not only does it look like a spider, but it can also climb walls, which is honestly very disturbing to think about if you think it was real. Of course, we hack into the spider bot to use it and destroy the prototype lab, and also destroy the server's power supply. And with that, Titus is dealt with, DedSec releases a new video regarding Titus, and with that, the Titus mission is complete. Our next mission has us going out to a port and carrying out giant cargo boxes, and obviously the curious wreck idiot I am, I dropped one on myself to see if it would kill me. He just got flattened. It did. But once we find the container we're looking for, we notice that somebody was inside of the damn thing and tries to attack us. Marcus asks who's Chinese and deals with human trafficking. Sitara replies the Auntie Shoe Boys, which is a gang group by the way, and that's who we decide to go after. Once our target is set, we find out where the Auntie Shoe Boys hideout is from a man who says Sitara's name funny.
But you tell Sitara this makes us even.
Sitara?
Yeah, thanks.
And now it's time to steal their documents and figure out what to do from there. Turns out Bloom is letting them use something called Bellwether to mess up the stock exchange on a nearby ship. Only issue is it's out of range, so we are going to a lighthouse to hack into the satellite and find the ship in the world, and to make it change direction so we can move right in and see what's up. Once we reach the ship, we locate the main server tower, steal it up, beat up a few gang members, and Josh comes in to pick us up on his gigantic drone. And just like that, the mission is done. Before our last mission, we get a brief cutscene of other DedSec members watching news of the douche, and we all agree that this is it. It's time to put this motherfucker down for good. And now starts the last mission. Before we get into any action, we see the douche in a business call, who I'm assuming is Mary Catskill he's talking to. We also see him go crazy and throw a bottle. So that was nice. The next cutscene, Marcus catches up with the group and sees he's back on the wanted list. He asks Ray if he can fix this, and Ray tells him that the douche Sean has made him a quote-unquote federal problem. Marcus and Norris tries to go out and stop the douche himself, but the group stops him and saying that's exactly what douche Sean wants. So Marcus stays behind and the other DedSec members take the field, which means we get to play as other characters. First up, we play as Satara as we hack into the douche's assistant's apartment, and I'm gonna lose my mind! This is probably the worst network bypass in the entire game. Not only is there a timer resetting everything I have to do, but some of these connectors are just hard to see at times, which is very annoying. But once we do that, we download Bloom's campus code and leave him with his relationship issues.
I don't plan on being an assistant forever, Mary.
No, hon. Not as my assistant. You betrayed Duchenne.
For you.
And now it's time to play Wrench. Wrench is equipped with a grenade launcher that has infinite ammo, by the way, and his job is to unlock Bloom's vault door and destroy their backup servers and main generators. Once we finish up with those two, it's time to go back to playing with Marcus, and his job is to cripple Bloom's communication, reach the air-grade computer, hack it, and his part is done. Finally, we have a cutscene of Marcus and Ray going into Dushan's apartment and telling him all the good news about everything he's done, and it's all public knowledge now. Once they tell him all the good news, they leave his apartment, and we see two policemen there to arrest him as they leave. DedSec celebrates on a job well done, release a video thanking everybody who supported them along the way, and we get a brief phone call discussing the whereabouts where the next game will take place. And that is the story of Watch Dogs 2. Whew! Now that was a lot, huh? I hope I was able to make it clear enough for you guys to understand what I was going through in the story. But yeah, honestly, what I have to say for the story, it was pretty darn enjoyable. It's got some good humor and everything made sense, at least. Well, I didn't understand all the hacker lingo, but I'm not a hacker, so I won't know that. But yeah, I liked the story overall. It was pretty fun. Now, what do I have to say for the game itself? Watch Dogs 2's gameplay is very similar to the original game style, as it being an open-world sandbox style game, which you may see in games like Grand Theft Auto or Cyberpunk. The method of hacking is all done through the L1 button, as I said earlier, and you can use this to do all sorts of things, such as hack cars, objects on the street, people's phones, and more. It overall gets the job done, and it's fun to mess around and see what kind of chaos you can ensue with hacking objects. The combat, more specifically the gunplay, could have been a little bit better in my opinion. I wasn't a fan of certain guns' handling, hence why my primary method of combat was to melee everyone, or just use explosives. The remote control objects were fun to use as well, especially the drone. I use it almost all the time. I want to take screenshots of this visually stunning game as my PlayStation home screen backgrounds. The animation is good too. I didn't do much of the emotes during my recordings, but you can wave, cheer, insult people as much as you can by holding down on the D-pad. But my personal favorites were the melee attacks, as I said earlier. Now, the controls for moving the character was a little weird, and the fact that there's not a dedicated jump button did throw me off, considering I'm more of a platformer guy. It definitely did throw me for a loop. But honestly, once you get used to it, it's actually a very comfortable control scheme. One thing I like is that you can sprint by pressing the left stick, or just L3, rather than jerking off your X button like in GTA 5. And climbing and vaulting over objects feels good too and has a nice flow to it. The driving is excellent. I know for those who saw me stream this game on Twitch may not have seen the best driving skills, but driving is really fun to this game, compared to how I felt in GTA 5. And I apologize for all the GTA 5 points, but many people would like to compare these games. Since I did play the original GTA 5, I thought I'd use it as well for this video. Driving feels super smooth and it doesn't feel like the cars have too much weight to them, unless you're driving like a muscle car or a big vehicle like a bus. And cruising around town in a car with some of your favorite tunes in the background can be relaxing as hell. I mean, remember that part when I was driving in the highway and listening to What I Made Up To and that glitch happened? Yeah, driving is relaxing too. One thing I find hilarious when it comes to driving in Watch Dogs 2 is when you ram into somebody on a motorcycle, they just fly off. I've done that so many times, every chance I get. Let's see how many times I did it in this recording. What the fuck just happened? Also, the aesthetic, I love them. I love all the bright, colorful areas you see in Watch Dogs 2, and I love the glitch effects you see throughout the game. Really gives off that hacker style that the game is going for. Another thing I like is since the cutscenes are rendered in real time, you can make Marcus wear whatever he wants in certain cutscenes to make him look like he doesn't belong there at all, and I love that! Another thing I did in the campaign was screw around with the other DedSec members and watching them desperately get into my car. Alright, hop in. We're going. Alright, off we go! Here we go! Nope, stay right there. Stay right there, buddy. Don't you dare move. Some negatives I have though is honestly once you beat the story, there's not much for you to do. I know there's online stuff you can do that I didn't record for this video, and they're okay. I mean, if you can manage to get a friend to play this with you, I bet you guys will have fun wrecking shit up and doing the online operations together. But since I don't have any friends to play this, I was stuck doing it solo, so shit. Another negative I have is with the loading times. They just take too long. I'm not sure if these problems also exist on the Xbox One or PC, but on the PlayStation 4 it is atrocious. Thankfully, the only ones you notice are the ones with the loading bar on the screen, but other than that, it's still not fun. But with all that said, Watch Dogs 2 is a well-crafted game that will probably last you about 10 to 12 hours if you're playing the story alone. And since it's been 5 years since the game first came out, it's only going for $10 on the PS4 at the time of this recording. If you get it on the Xbox One or PC, you'll probably have to pay $50, so if you're gonna get the game at all, get it on the PS4, or the PS5, whichever one you have. Hell, at the time of this recording, they let you buy both Watch Dogs 1 and 2 together for only $15! So that's a good deal if you ask me. Also, the game has DLC missions too, and if you really like this game, give those a try and see what you think. And I think that's it really. I know this video was probably 10 times longer than it needs to be thanks to me explaining the story, but I hope I kept you all entertained enough to watch it from the beginning to the end. Now, I did probably some stuff that I skipped over in the plot, some other stuff that I didn't mention, but just bear with me, okay? I'm still trying to figure out this whole review process thing. But with that being said, this is JPL signing out. I thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.